The hidden structure behind your reality is not random. It is governed by 7 universal principles. Over a century ago, a small book called the Kybalion appeared without an author's name. It claimed to contain the essence of Hermetic philosophy, the ancient wisdom attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the mythical fusion of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, keeper of divine knowledge. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding, the book begins. Those ears belong to anyone humble enough to listen. The Kybalion describes 7 laws that underlie every experience: mental, energetic, physical, and even spiritual. These laws were not presented as commandments, but as mechanics, the way reality functions, just as gravity governs motion. If you learn these 7 principles, you learn how consciousness creates experience. If you ignore them, they still operate. But without your awareness, you are moved by the currents instead of moving with them. Let's travel through each law slowly and clearly, not as superstition, but as ancient psychology refined through thousands of years. 1. The law of mentalism. All is mind. Everything begins in consciousness. The universe itself is a mental creation within the infinite mind of the All. You could call the All God, the quantum field, divine consciousness. It doesn't matter. The message is that everything that exists is thought, vibration, awareness. Matter is mind at its slowest frequency. Thought is matter at its fastest. Your life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. When you think, your thoughts don't stay contained between your ears. They radiate powerfully into the subtle field of creation, shaping the invisible architecture of events and emotions around you. To understand mentalism is to accept ultimate responsibility. Your inner world produces your outer world. If you hold yourself as powerless, life will mirror powerlessness. If you recognize yourself as a fragment of infinite consciousness, you begin to participate deliberately in creation. Mentalism does not mean you control every external detail. It means your interpretation gives every event its meaning, and meaning is what constructs reality. Your life story is written from the inside outward. Change the mindset, and reality rearranges itself to stay consistent with that vibration. 2. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is the principle of reflection. It tells us that existence operates in patterns that repeat across scales. The microcosm and the macrocosm mirror each other. The atom mirrors the solar system. Your nervous system mirrors the cosmic web of galaxies. Your private struggles mirror collective evolution. You are the universe looking at itself in miniature. The surface of your life is a holographic projection of your inner state. Confusion within breeds confusion without. Peace within produces harmony without. This law frees you from victimhood. If outer circumstances disturb you, look inside. Align inner conflict, and the world adjusts. Blame ceases. Responsibility begins. Understanding correspondence allows you to read the symbolic language of the world. A recurring life pattern is not punishment. It is communication. Everything you encounter is feedback between planes. Meditate on this. The universe is a mirror. Everything you see is you, reflecting itself back for integration. To resist the mirror is suffering. To learn from it is enlightenment. 3. The law of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Modern physics confirms what Hermeticism proclaimed centuries ago. At the deepest level, everything is energy in motion. Solid objects are patterns of vibration condensed. Emotions, thoughts, flesh, and sound all differ by frequency, not substance. Vibration is the bridge between spirit and matter. Air becomes sound through vibration. Sound becomes emotion. Emotion becomes thought. Thought becomes matter. You are a field of constantly shifting frequencies interacting with others. Your state, happy, fearful, hopeful, jealous, is a vibration broadcasting to the universe. Similar frequencies resonate. Dissimilar ones repel. That is the true understanding of law of attraction. It's not about forced positivity. It's about energetic coherence. Raise vibration not by pretending to be high vibe, but by aligning thought, emotion, and action with truth. Integrity stabilizes frequency. Gratitude, compassion, creativity, genuine curiosity. These states vibrate harmoniously and magnetize corresponding experiences. When you maintain congruence between what you think, feel, and do, life begins to harmonize rhythmically. This is resonance made conscious. 4. The law of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Light and dark, hot and cold, love and hate, all are the same energy on different points of a spectrum. Polarity explains paradox. It reconciles opposites not by denying difference but by revealing underlying unity. If you grasp this, emotional mastery begins. Hatred can transform into empathy by movement along the same axis. Fear transforms into courage when you shift vibration on the polarity of strength. Sorrow turns into wisdom. Instead of fighting against one end, move toward balance. When you experience negativity, ask, what is the same energy expressed at another frequency? Polarity allows you to transmute. You don't escape darkness. You raise its vibration until it becomes light. Hermeticists call this mental alchemy. Life then ceases to be tug of war and becomes a dance between polarities seeking equilibrium. 5. The law of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. This law is the pulse of the cosmos. Seasons change. Tides ebb and flow. Breath inhales, exhales. Your moods, relationships, fortunes, all follow cycles. Nothing stays high forever, and nothing stays low forever. Understanding rhythm grants serenity. What falls will rise. What grows too fast will rest. Expansion is followed by integration. Even destruction is preparation for renewal. Resistance to rhythm creates suffering. We panic when the wave withdraws, believing it's the end. But rhythm promises the next surge is already forming offshore. When life quiets, use the resting phase for reflection. When momentum returns, act vigorously. Aligning with cosmic tide prevents burnout. Jung himself echoed this when he said, the psyche breathes in and out between consciousness and unconsciousness. That's rhythm in psychological language. Ride the wave, neither cling nor dread. The wise surfer of life learns to move with rhythm, not against it. 6. The law of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Chance is an illusion. Things do not just happen. Every event emerges from a chain of interacting causes, visible or invisible. When the conscious mind perceives randomness, it simply cannot track the complexity. To the Hermetic philosopher, cause and effect are the foundational intelligence of order. On the physical plane, this is mechanics. On the mental plane, it is karma, the return of energy in kind. Every thought, every act plants a vibration in the field. What you sow must return, though not always in the same form or timing. Understanding this principle liberates you from blame and victimhood. There are always reasons, some within, some beyond you. You can't control every external cause, but you can control the quality of causes you originate now. Act consciously, and you step out of reaction into creation. You move from being an effect of circumstances to being a cause of transformation. Responsibility becomes empowerment, the recognition that each choice launches ripples across time and psyche. 7. The law of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. This final law has been misunderstood for centuries. It does not refer to biological sex. It refers to polarity of creative forces inherent in all existence. The masculine principle projects, initiates, focuses direction, like sunlight. The feminine principle receives, nurtures, gestates, and brings form, like the earth absorbing that sunlight so life can grow. Creation requires both. Mind without receptivity is sterile intellect. Emotion without direction becomes chaos. In every person, regardless of body, these two energies operate. When they are balanced, you become whole, capable of inspiration and execution, logic and intuition, giving and receiving, assertion and surrender. Hermetic gender culminates the entire system. Mentalism is mind conceiving. Gender is mind birthing its idea into manifestation. Harmony of masculine and feminine within produces balanced creation without. When you weave all 7 laws together, they describe a blueprint for conscious living. Let's summarize. 1. Mentalism. All is mind. 2. Correspondence. As within, so without. 3. Vibration. Everything moves. 4. Polarity. Everything has its opposite. 5. Rhythm. Everything flows in cycles. 6. Cause and effect. Everything happens lawfully. 7. Gender. Everything creates through balanced dual forces. Together they unite physics, psychology, and spirituality. They explain why thought shapes experience, why emotions ripple through matter, why order returns after chaos, and why wholeness needs both action and receptivity. These aren't beliefs to adopt, they are patterns to observe. They function whether you believe in them or not, just as gravity affects believers and skeptics alike. Awareness doesn't create new laws. It simply allows you to cooperate consciously with the existing design. Your mind is the laboratory where the Hermetic principles operate every day. Every emotion you feel is a vibration. Every interpretation you hold is mentalism. Every relationship mirrors correspondence. Every mood cycle expresses rhythm. Every decision plants cause for future effect. Every thought blends masculine focus with feminine receptivity. You are practicing Hermeticism every second of your existence, mostly unconsciously. The choice is whether you become deliberate alchemist rather than accidental participant. Applying the law of mentalism transforms victimhood into authorship. When you see life as mental, complaints lose power. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What state of mind created resonance with this?" This is not self-blame. It's self-agency. It turns turmoil into curriculum. Once the mind learns, the lesson dissolves. To operate by mentalism is to treat thought as sacred architecture. Guard your internal dialogue. It is the blueprint of the future. Practicing the law of correspondence turns daily life into divination. You begin to read synchronicities as conversation with the universe. An argument with a friend reflects an argument within yourself. Chaos in the room reflects clutter in the psyche. A calm morning mirrors internal harmony. Clean the inner mirror, and the outer landscape shines. Living by the law of vibration demands emotional awareness. Ask frequently, what frequency am I transmitting right now? Not by pretending, but by noticing. When frequency drops through fear, anger, comparison, breathe, ground, move, sound, music, nature, honest conversation, all recalibrate vibration faster than thought alone. Vibration is not moral hierarchy. It is coherence or incoherence. Seek coherence, alignment of mind plus heart plus action. That is authentic, high vibe. Applying the law of polarity heals your extremes. Instead of labeling feelings good or bad, locate their continuum. Move towards center. Sadness isn't the enemy of joy. It's the soil that grows it. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the data that constructs it. Fear isn't opposite of love. It's love seeking safety. When you see the spectrum, you gain freedom from split thinking, and peace begins. Honoring the law of rhythm keeps you from burnout and despair. Recognize seasons in everything. Creativity, relationship, spirituality, career. When productivity ebbs, rest without shame. When passion surges, act without hesitation. Flow with natural alternating currents of doing and being. Rhythm whispers, be patient. The pendulum is already swinging back. Embodying the law of cause and effect cultivates conscious choice. Pretend for a week that nothing is accidental. Track your reactions. Notice how thought creates emotion. Emotion provokes action, and action attracts consequence. You'll see chains of causality previously invisible. Then, choose wisely. Plant causes worthy of your future self. Life begins responding with mathematical elegance. Balancing the law of gender unlocks creativity and fulfillment. When you act without listening, you overexpress the masculine. Burnout follows. When you dream without doing, you overexpress the feminine. Stagnation follows. Creation requires their dance. Think to feel, to act, to receive, to reflect. That circular union sustains growth indefinitely. Harmony between inner genders births authentic power. The Hermetic system is less about control over reality and more about harmony with it. Western willpower teaches domination. Manifest whatever you desire. Hermetic wisdom teaches cooperation. Align desire with universal law. When your aim supports evolution rather than ego, the 7 principles amplify intention naturally. You become conduit, not manipulator. The cup that empties of arrogance fills with insight. Modern science and psychology echo Hermetic wisdom in new language. Quantum physics describes observer dependence. Measurement collapses possibility into form. Mentalism. Systems theory describes fractals and self-similar patterns. Correspondence. Vibration translates into frequency resonance. Polarity into matter. Antimatter symmetry. Rhythm into wave mechanics. Cause and effect into determinism and feedback loops. Gender into creative polarity, electric and magnetic fields. And psychology? Cognitive patterns shape perception. Inner beliefs repeat outside reality. Hermetic philosophy simply wrapped these truths in metaphor long before microscopes and magnets proved them. Ancient mysticism was early science dressed as poetry. The deeper purpose of the Kybalion is self-mastery leading to service. The authors didn't write it to inflate egos with secret knowledge. They wrote it to awaken responsibility. When you understand law, you align with law. When you align, you create harmony within yourself and ripple it outward. Self-mastery is not isolation, it's contribution. Balanced individuals catalyze balance in others. That is Hermes' real magic, awakening the messenger inside every soul. Each law becomes meditation practice in daily life. Mentalism. Observe thoughts as seeds. Nurture them deliberately. Correspondence. Read recurring patterns as mirrors. Adjust within. Vibration. Feel energy. Keep it moving. Sound, art, breath. Polarity. Seek unity of opposites. Practice empathy for both sides. Rhythm. Honor cycles. Rest when waves recede. Cause and effect. Choose aware actions. Take ownership of consequences. Gender. Integrate intuition with logic. Action with receptivity. Growth doesn't come from memorizing laws, but from embodying them until reaction becomes resonance. Understanding these principles turns philosophy into physics of consciousness. When something shocks you tomorrow, remember, it is mentalism in motion. It is correspondence calling. It is cause returning. It is rhythm balancing. It is vibration adjusting. It is polarity teaching. It is gender creating the next evolution. You realize there was never chaos, only law operating through mystery. Peace replaces panic once you understand law. The ultimate secret of the Kybalion is unity. The 7 laws are 7 faces of one intelligence. Imagine white light passing through a prism. It splits into 7 colors, yet remains light. Likewise, the cosmic mind expresses itself as 7 principles, yet remains one reality. When consciousness matures, the fragmentation dissolves. You no longer jump from one law to another. You live from harmony. At that stage, you feel guided from within rather than calculating outcomes. Synchronicity becomes navigation. Intuition becomes science. Grace becomes the natural rhythm of cause. This is what Hermeticists call mastery of the self. The Kybalion is not ancient superstition, but a manual for becoming conscious creators in a lawful universe. It teaches humility before order and empowerment through understanding. It reminds you that divinity expresses through mind, that every event, however painful or joyful, obeys the same symmetry, and that you are never separate from the source organizing it all. The 7 principles are eternal, yet personal. They breathe through every heartbeat, every conversation, every sunrise. Your task is to remember them, not intellectually, but existentially. To live as if consciousness truly shapes matter, as if perception truly matters, but because it does. So what happens when you finally live in alignment with these 7 laws? You stop reacting. You start creating. You stop fearing loss. You start trusting rhythm. You stop resisting opposites. You start integrating them. You stop blaming fate. You start observing cause. You stop searching for love. You start generating it from balanced masculine-feminine union. You stop chasing enlightenment. You start recognizing that reality itself is consciousness practicing awareness. Life becomes orchestral, each event a note played by the same hidden harmony, and you, both listener and composer. The universe is mental. Your thought is cosmic material. Your attention is creative fire. To walk knowingly under that truth is to become magician in the original sense. Not performer of tricks, but maker of meaning. The 7 Hermetic Laws are not fences. They are bridges between spirit and form. Cross them daily. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you confirm Hermetic wisdom. The mind governs matter, and consciousness revises reality by the quality of its vibration. That is how reality truly changes, from the frequency of understanding itself. Final reflection. Close your eyes tonight and repeat inwardly, all is mind and mind is creative. My inner world and outer world reflect one another. Everything moves. I vibrate in harmony. Opposites unite within me. I move with the rhythm of life. I sow conscious causes for conscious effects. I balance the masculine and feminine within my soul. You have just affirmed the structure of existence. Now, live those lines until they are no longer affirmations but facts. When you do, the Kybalion stops being a book. It becomes your heartbeat. And the universe, listening, rearranges itself accordingly.